Yeah, hello everybody. My name is Matthias Möhl, and in this tutorial I'm going to explain you how you can use my brand new script Chameleon, the color scheme browser, to work in After Effects very conveniently with Adobe Kuler color themes. And in case you don't know Adobe Kuler, let's first take a quick look at the Kuler website. So it's here is this website kuler.adobe.com, and what you find there is basically a collection of nice color schemes. So you can look here for most popular color schemes, for newest color schemes, and random color schemes. You can search for keywords, whatever, just to find nice combinations of colors that look good if you use them together in your compositions. And what you can do in the Adobe Kuler website is, if you're logged in, so you have to register, you can download the theme that you're currently looking at to a file on your hard drive. And what you can do then with my script Chameleon is you can go here to load ASE files. This is a kind of file you can save them there. And I've already downloaded a few. Here, all these are just downloaded color schemes files. I can select them, hit OK, and now you can see I have them all here in After Effects to use them. So I can delete them, and I can here load additional ones. So I could select them again here, load different ones. Another way to get them into your composition is there is this nice Kuler desktop application that you can download from the Adobe website and that you can even use without the need to register. And here you can also look for nice color schemes in this Kuler desktop application. And if you want to copy now a color scheme from the Kuler desktop to After Effects, let's say we want to copy here this first one, you can click on this button here, copy swatch value, then go here into the Chameleon script, paste the data there. So just by Ctrl V or the standard cut and paste shortcut that might be different on macOS, I'm not so sure. And then hit here this add swatch value, and you can see the color scheme that we had here in Kuler arrived here in the script. So we can, for example, also copy here the second one, go here, now it is copied to the clipboard, then click here into the text field, paste the data there by keyboard shortcut, or also edit, right click and then paste, and then add swatch value, and the color scheme here arrived into After Effects. So what can you do with these themes once they are in After Effects? I've prepared here a very basic example that just shows you the idea. So this comp just consists of a solid layer with some ramp effect on it. Here you've got this ramp effect with the start and end color, and we've got here this test text. What you can do now is first apply such a color scheme. Let's say we want to go here for this one with these red tones. I hit apply, and what we have now in our comp is a new layer that is called color scheme, and which actually contains now these colors here. And what we have to do next, so you don't see any changes here yet, what we have to do next is we have to connect the colors, like here the colors of our ramp, to the color scheme. And this we can do with these buttons here. So we select the start color of the ramp and hit 1 to connect the start color of the ramp to the first color of our color scheme. And then we can go to the end color and hit, for example, 5 to connect to the 5th color of our color scheme. Or let's say we want to connect it to the 3rd one. Then we hit just 3 and it is connected to the 3rd one. You can see here now the colors are exactly the colors of the color scheme. And if you change now the color scheme, let's say we apply this one, see that they immediately update. Now you've got here the 1st and the 3rd color of this new color scheme. So now we can also connect here this text. And in this text, I've already added some animator, but I delete it again to show it to you. So now the text is just black and white. And I can go to animate fill color, RGB. And now I get here such a color property that defines me the fill color. And this fill color I can select now and connect, let's say for example, to the 5th color of our color scheme. And now it gets immediately connected here to the 5th color of our color scheme. And then we can also add, for example, oh, it's out of your range now. You can't see it, but here you've got fill stroke color and also hit RGB, and then we get a stroke color that we can now also connect, let's say, to the 4th color of our color scheme. Okay, now let's say we want the stroke and the fill of the text be the same color. So I go click here also 5, such that the stroke and the fill have the same color of our color scheme, but we want the stroke to be a little bit darker than the fill. Then we can connect it, the stroke, differently, or we can modify how it is connected. Here with this brightness slider, we can say we don't want it to have 100% the color, the 5th color of this color scheme here, but we want it to be a little bit darker. Let's say 36% darker. We hit again here to connect. And now you can see you've got the same color, but a little bit darker. And if you connect, for example, to this color scheme, both update again. You've got the 5th color of your color scheme as this text color, and the stroke also gets this color, but a little bit darker. And the nice thing now, once you have connected here these texts and these ramps and the background or any other color properties within your comp to the color scheme, you can really easily change it. And you see everything updates automatically according to your color scheme. And one thing that I haven't explained now yet is this button. And this here applies the color scheme in the same way as this here, but it shuffles the colors before. So if you say, well, these colors here look nice, but I want them to be connected differently, then just hit this button here. And you see, each time you press it, you'd get a different connection of the colors of your comp to the colors of the properties. Another interesting thing is also here this random button. In this random button, you can connect properties not to a specific color of your color scheme, but to a random one. So for example, for your ramp, you can select the start color and the end color and hit random. And now you can see here, each time I hit random, they are connected to a different color of your color scheme. So now they seem to be a little bit dark, and this is because we've still here this brightness value. So I set it around 0 again, hit random, and you can see now you get again the original colors. So now let's come to a more advanced example. I've got here prepared a second comp that so far just contains some footage, and this footage is actually some submarine harbor. And so what we want to add there now is some lower thirds information, and we do it by just adding some preset. So we go here to the effects and presets, go to backgrounds and take this, or let's just browse them. So we can go click here, and you can't see it because it's off screen, but here you can select browse presets, and now bridge is opened and you can go to backgrounds and then choose here some background. So for example, this one here is looking quite nice, so we double click on it, and now we've got a solid with this nicely moving background here in our comp, and we just add some mask to make it a lower third like this, and maybe we can move it a little down and add some mask feather to it to make it look a little bit nicer. So now this solid with this lower third has some fixed color, okay? And if you see how it is created, we look at the effects of this solid. It has some fractal noise on it, then some tritone effect and some levels. So I deactivate the tritone and levels effect, and you can see that this fractal noise is just necessary here to create this movement. Okay, but it has no color yet, just black and white. And then this tritone effect gives this bluish color. And then we've got here this level effects that adds basically some more contrast to it. So we open the tritone effect and see that the tritone effect has 3 such color properties, one for the highlights, one for the midtones, and one for the shadows. So we can now select these 3 properties and go again to Chameleon and connect them, for example, to random. Oh, so we haven't applied a color scheme yet to this composition. So we select the color scheme we like, for example this one here, hit apply, and get here the new null layer that contains our color scheme. Now we can select these 3 properties and say here random connection, and now they are connected randomly to colors of our color scheme. So now you can see that these somehow look strange sometimes. You can try to apply others and they always look differently, but many of them look quite crappy, and the reason is that, well, we change here the highlights sometimes to very dark colors and the shadows in some examples to very light colors, and this is not what we want. So what you can do to change this is that you select here this option keep original lightness, which means we connect to the colors of the color scheme, but if the color is very dark, but we don't, basically we just want to keep from the color scheme, we just want to take the saturation and the hue, and the lightness should be maintained such that highlights are still very light and shadows are still very dark. So if we connect that way, you can say now highlights remain very light and shadows remain very dark. Okay, and if we apply other schemes, it's basically the same. So on average now, if we apply them here randomly, they look quite nice. Okay, now we've got here our lower thirds animation, and the next thing we want to do is that we want to color correct the background, and we want to color correct it such that it always automatically matches the selected color schemes. And probably you know that there are many different options how you can color correct your footage, and there are, for example, these great products from Red Giants like the brand new Red Giant Mojo or Colorista. But I want to show you now a different way how to color correct it, with some free preset and in a way that it automatically matches your Chameleon color schemes. And what you need for this is a preset that is called Rebel CC, and that was done by Stu Maschwitz, and that you can download at his blog here, prolost.com. So if you at Prolost search for Rebel CC, you will find this post here where you can download it for free. And actually, if you want to know the details how to use it, I really highly recommend his great book here, the DV Rebels Guide, which also contains a CD or a DVD where also this Rebel CC is contained, but actually can download it here for free. So what are we going to do with this Rebel CC? So we select our footage layer and we go here to effects and presets, and you must have installed then this Rebel CC stuff, and here we've got the Rebel CC preset and we're going to apply it. And what it makes is that you've got then here an effect on your layer, and well, you can here set some a black point and white point and gray point. I'm going to skip that now. The important thing is that we can now push with this Rebel CC the shadows, the mid-tones and the highlights of the footage into the direction of certain colors. And if you look at these, you see these are again just color properties that are initially all set to white. So we can select them, go here to Chameleon and let them just connect to random properties of our color scheme. Oh, currently I've got here this keep original lightness selected, which means it always remains white no matter what I press, because it's original white and white has this maximal lightness. So I deactivate this here, go here around the middle and hit random, and you can see that the colors of your color scheme are chosen and it immediately color corrects in that way. And now you can see again it somehow gets quite dark, and this is because you normally wouldn't push your shadows, midtones and highlights in such an intensive way. So what you usually select here are colors that are quite close to white and just go a certain amount into a certain color direction. So what we therefore do is increase here this brightness of our connection, connect again, and you can see now you've got much better, much nicer colors. And now we can here apply different color schemes, and you can see, for example, if we select this red one, the background also gets color corrected red. You can look at different variants here, just play around with it and see which is the color correction that looks best for you. And now you can see that somehow the colors here and the colors here go into different directions. And what I would therefore recommend if you do this color correction stuff, and here's this, that you connect the dark and the highlight things to the same colors. So let's first select here for the tritone the highlights and connect them with the original lightness to the first color, this here to the second, and this here to the third. And now go here to the Rebel CCs, to shadows with quite some lightness here to the third, midtones to the second, and highlights to the first. And now you can see that they match much better. So the dark parts of both this here and this here are pushed to the same because they are connected to the same colors. And now it's just really a matter of playing around here with your schemes, and you end up with some quite nice color result. And of course now you can add here some text to your lower thirds, like call this here submarine harbor. And again, for this text you can now either keep the color constant if you like, or also connect it to the color scheme. So let's do this again to finish this up here quickly. Just move this a little, and let's say we want this fill color of the text also to be connected to the scheme. Then I go here to animate fill color RGB, and then select the fill color and connect it to any color property that I like. So let's say we want it with a little bit darker color than the color usually has, like, or let's say we just keep it around 0. It's difficult to set it exactly to 0 here, but doesn't matter. And connect it here, let's say, to the last color of our scheme. And now we can play around. You can see that also the text adjusts in its fill color. So you can really easily play around now. Say render this version here, look at it, and try another scheme, for example like this. And really with a few clicks you can change the entire colors of your scene. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.